Welcome back, everyone, to Nerdin' Out, the only podcast that's guaranteed to be the next esports event. I'm your host, Ronnin Hunter.
And I'm Duke Savage.
Welcome to our, what is this, our fourth episode now?
Fourth.
Or are we counting the countdown one? So we're still counting that one as one?
Yeah, we're still going to count that one as one.
Okay. Yeah, your meltdown had us break it into two, but...
Right, yeah, sorry about that, y'all.
So, how you doing, Duke? It's been about a week since our last recording.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Some pretty eventful changes in my life. I just got a promotion at work, so.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you very much. Have some movement going around. You know, things have been looking up on my end. Doing a lot of dieting, exercise. You know, your typical New Year's resolution things.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing that, I mean, I'm pretty sure that half of society is pretty much giving up on in the first place, so.
Well, I think like an hour into New Year's, it's done for most people.
If you're honest with yourself, yeah, it should be done.
It's like, I'm gonna exercise, I'm gonna lose weight, I'm gonna be a better person, and then next year in jail. What?
Yeah.
Huh?
Eating a Twinkie or an eclair. What about you, Ronnin? What's up with you?
Had a very interesting week. So I've been kind of learning how to do self-diagnostics on my Switch. Because you know that whole drift thing with the controllers?
Yeah, I know it can be pretty annoying.
I found some things to do it where you can fix that without tools. So I tried that, and you'll never believe that I opened up a wormhole in my bathroom.
What?
Yeah, it's really crazy.
I think that's called worms.
No, wormhole. Completely different.
Worms in your hole?
You know what are we talking about today?
Anyway.
Subject change. That's how you do a transition, everybody.
That's right. Oh man. No, did you want to finish about your Switch?
Not anymore.
All right.
Gotta start getting weird looks at from people.
Well, they already give you weird looks, but that ain't nothing to do with your wormhole, boy. So anyway, y'all. So today's episode is going to be kind of like a current event episode, plus with a little surprise treat at the end.
Yep.
All right. So what I got on my list here is, I don't know if you heard about this, but so this is from videogameschronicle.com. A fresh new report claims new Nintendo Switch model will release mid-2020. And now that we're in 2020, and as someone or some people like us that both have Switches, this is something that I am definitely excited for.
I'm personally more skeptical about it, but
okay.
Yeah, because I mean, let's take a look at the Switch. It came out just a couple of years ago. It's still really big, and just last year, Nintendo released the Switch Lite.
Yes, they did release the Switch Lite. And let's see. So let me tell you what it's going to be jam-packed with, and you tell me what you're skeptical about, okay?
All right.
So as you know, Nintendo never gives any credence or any kind of reports to rumors. So obviously, anything that we're going to read today, Nintendo will neither confirm nor deny in your typical Nintendo fashion.
Right.
So, citing sources from the related supply chain Taiwanese website Digitime says that the new Switch hardware will enter mass production in the first quarter of the year. So we're here. You know, we are in the moment where we could be hearing and seeing more about this new Switch console. Digitimes claims that the new Switch will come with a magnesium alloy body instead of plastic and an improved CPU. And that kind of makes sense with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X coming out later in 2020. It could make sense that the Switch, that Nintendo could be launching an older, stronger brother version of the Switch that could be its competitor to the PlayStation 5, to the Xbox Series X. That's a big claim, right? That's a big rumor. That's huge.
That is very big. People that follow the console wars, with every generation that comes out, Nintendo is usually the first to always drop a new system.
Right.
With the last generation, it was the Wii U, and then you had like the PS4 stuff came out. Before that, it was the Wii. They always usually release it either half a year to a full year in advance, and that's how they usually keep ahead on the market. Unfortunately, a lot of their home consoles before the Switch, they weren't technically strong. Like the Wii was crazy. Everyone had a Wii, but it didn't have HD graphics. It didn't have strong internet connection. It had a lot of shovelware on it, which really, in my opinion, was not cool. Because it's like, where's that quality control Nintendo
Absolutely.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Wii U came out and it bombed. I mean, so much that within the first 12 months, almost all third-party support was dropped. It was like really shocking, and it sucked because the Wii U was a really good console.
Right.
So it's really not surprising that the Switch came out before this next generation of home consoles. But what's really weird is that this is going to be the third iteration of the Switch.
Yeah, it will be. And, there's a lot to say about that, perhaps. They have a lot going for it. It's a solid system. There's a lot going for it. A little side note to this news is there's also been reports of a GameCube coming out. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be called yet. But as you know, PlayStation, Sega, they're all releasing mini consoles of their classic consoles from, old days. And apparently there's going to be a GameCube version of that. Still no, solid release date or confirmation about that. But there have been some, quote unquote leaked images about that. So I thought that the Nintendo Switch would have gone the way of backwards compatibility, the way that the PlayStation 5 is going. Latest reports of the PlayStation 5 are saying that it's going to be backwards compatible all the way to the PlayStation 1, which just makes sense.
Yeah, and that's something that personally I have been wanting for a long while, because I have a pretty good collection of Sony games.
Right.
A lot of which aren't getting re-released digitally, and I want to go back and play them.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I can see where Nintendo's going with this. They're not dumb, right? They're there to make a buck as well.
Right.
But in a time where there's so much competition and your competition is offering so much, dude, you know me when I was a PC elite, right? You knew me when I would not even look at a console. I would turn my head at a console and I would do patooey on any console within 20 yards. I hated consoles. It was always about PC, and PC was my life. And somewhere along the line, you did your witchcraft and you convinced me to get a PS4. And I've been obsessed. I've loved my PS4. I absolutely love it. I have Rock Band. I have all the greatest hits. I fell in love with Spider-Man PS4. I now play Overwatch on the PS4 more than I do on PC. Please no hate emails, please. I still play on the PC, I swear. But the PlayStation is so good. It does a lot for me. Obviously, the PS5 will do even more. I'm asking for Nintendo to do just a little bit more because I love Nintendo. I never had money when I was a kid. My parents never had money. The only consoles that we had growing up were Nintendo systems.
Yeah.
I have so much love for Nintendo, their games, their systems. It's so unfortunate that I feel like they are holding so much back just to save some money. because I know that's not really where their heart is, that's not where our hearts are.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, they have been slow to catch up on adding that extra stuff that Xbox and Sony offer on their home consoles in terms of making it a multi-functioning console. Because like my PS4, I play games on it. I watch YouTube on it. I watch movies on it.
Right.
It's not just a game console. And the Switch kind of backpedaled
it did, didn't it?
A little bit. Yeah, because the Wii U offered, Netflix and Hulu streaming. You could it was weird that you can program the tablet to act as a remote control for your actual TV. The only thing it was really missing was like DVD and Blu-ray playback, which homebrews of the Wii offered that. I mean, it's just software you have to put in on the system.
Yeah.
But with the Switch, when that came out, they took away the web browser. It took a while to get YouTube on there. Netflix is still unavailable on there. So they're just really slow to add those third-party apps on there to make it a multi-purpose system.
And that's where I feel like it's kind of disingenuous, because I don't feel like it's necessarily slow. And I don't know for sure. Obviously, I'm not, their CEO or their tech development team, but
right.
It seems like they're taking a huge step back, like you've saying. The Wii had not necessarily backwards compatibility, but you had options to purchase classic games like Paper Mario, Mario Kart 64.
Right. And it did have the backwards compatibility for the GameCube. You could play GameCube. It did have the
backwards compatibility. It is so unfortunate that we don't have that with the Switch.
Yeah. The Wii U had it too. You could play Wii games on it. Unfortunately, they took out the GameCube.
Oh, right. Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, you're right.
But the Switch itself, aside from the digital re-releases, it has no backwards compatibility whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which some people I know it's not a big deal to. Other people it can be. But that's something that Sony is addressing in the next console, and it's a big thing too, because like you said, it's rumored to go back all the way to first gen PlayStation.
Yeah.
Not just last console. So hopefully Nintendo, if this next system, what people are calling the Switch Pro, if the Switch Pro comes out, hopefully Nintendo will add something like that.
Yes. It's rumored to be $399 and support 4K, so we will see. Probably we should start hearing more about it in summer 2020, so we'll see.
Yeah, right around E3.
Yeah. My next story is coming from Engadget. Still keeping on the topic of the Switch, Dell's Concept UFO. Have you heard about this?
No, you had just briefly mentioned it to me, and it was a bit weird because I was a little confused about it. I mistook it for something else that is very similar to it.
Yeah, it's essentially like a wild Switch-like portable gaming PC. Now, I've been watching a lot of videos about this, about the Concept UFO, a lot of hands-on demos apparently, and all of the people that have held it in their hands say that they wish that this is what the Switch was. Apparently, the ergonomic design of this Concept UFO is so perfect that they have no complaint. Well, from what I've heard, obviously that's going to be a bold statement. They have no complaints about the way that this holds. It's a metal casing. It's tactile. The triggers are in a perfect place, apparently. There's a kickstand on the back. And get this, the charging port is on top of the device.
Oh!
So you can easily have a kickback stand on the bottom, a charging point on a charging port on top. Words are hard. And you even have this Alienware little Switch like, dude, it is the Switch, but 1,000 times better. It's so sad to say, but it even has that little Switch controller put her together thing that you clip your controllers into, and it turns it into a full-on controller while you're device is kind of like docked on your table or something. It looks fascinating. It looks so high tech. From what I've read, this is only concept. Dell has no real intentions of making this a full-on device, and it's sad. I am so sad. This thing looks powerful. It looks sleek. It looks perfect. And they just wanted to make it, and they're kind of wondering what other technologies can come from this kind of concept, which is, I understand. A lot of tech companies do that. It's kind of what's important in development of technology and other greater and bigger things. You know, you create something that is a good idea and you kind of wait for other things to spring off of it. So,
right.
This is awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people might be thinking that they're ripping off Nintendo, and in a way you can think that, but you have to also remember that, and this sounds completely cliche, but, you know, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yes.
Because the Switch, like the Wii, had broken grounds in terms of video games. It took home console gaming and allowed you to take it on the go. So now when you see this Dell UFO, or the other one that I was confusing it with, which was, what's the one from Google?
Oh, the Google Stadia.
Yeah. Both of these you could look as like offshoots of the Switch, because, you know, it's the next thing in gaming.
Portable gaming, right? Yeah.
Portable. And home console gaming, too.
Yeah, the Google Stadia they attempted to be everything, which was kind of their downfall.
Yeah. And we bring this up like almost every week, but we're in like a wait and see kind of thing with these things.
I truly believe so. I think we're right in the middle of something that's going to blow up to be the video game, you know, gold rush. I think it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
And I think we're right in the middle to see something really big happen. So I'm very excited. I'm very optimistic.
Yeah. So, again, these are all concepts, so I have to see something more concrete before I can truly get excited for it. Because, I mean, anything in concept looks exciting, but if it doesn't come to fruition, I mean, what's the point?
Yeah, and for Dell to flat out say that they're not planning to really do anything with this type of demo, it's kind of lackluster, really.
Like, let's turn the clock back about, how long ago was it? Right before the PS4 came out. At one of Squaresoft's conventions, I think it was at E3, they did a tech demo for the PS4 that showed Final Fantasy VII, and people lost their minds. Now, back then, they had not confirmed that Final Fantasy VII was going to be remade. I mean, we're getting it out sometime really soon, first quarter. Like, I think at the end of the month, maybe. But at the time, people were losing their minds because it looked really good. But they said all it is just a tech demo. So basically it's the same thing for hardware, just with software. It's concept. And when they said that, a lot of people's souls were crushed because it didn't come to fruition until about 2 or 3 years afterwards. They said, okay, yeah, we're finally making it. And then almost 10 years later, we're finally getting the game. Right. But if it hadn't come out, it would have been just a tech demo. And that's what this UFO could be. Simply a tech demo.
Yeah, I believe it. Yep. I agree.
So until we get confirmation from Dell that, yes, we're putting it in production, I mean, it's really hard to get truly excited about it.
And I mean, cars do the same thing. You know, cars, they go through these extravagant concept cars that really don't absolutely have no function at all. Like these laser fiber lights, right? Why do you need fiber laser lights? They look cool, but who knows? Maybe in the future, fiber lights may be the next best thing. You know, you'll never have to change them, right? They'll never go out. They'll never go dim. Maybe that's the future. But right now, I don't see anybody buying fiber lights. So we'll see.
It's the practicality of it's really strange. It's almost like painting flames on the side of your car because you think it'll make it go faster. I mean, it worked as a kid.
We'll see, man. We'll see. It's kind of like what you're saying, though. I mean, this kind of like paves the way for something bigger and greater to happen. So
yeah, and
Optimism.
optimistic that they do build something off of it. That
Absolutely.
it's not just because it's something they could have done.
Yes.
That they do take it in that direction.
All right. So those are my two little news stories for this episode.
Okay, so let me talk real quickly. I kind of mentioned it a little bit why I was a little skeptical, and it's just concept right now.
Yes.
But my biggest concern is Nintendo might be overreaching, because again, this is the third iteration of the Switch that might be coming out.
Okay.
Right, the Switch Pro that we're calling it right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3 consoles in 3 years.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, Nintendo's done this before, and they like to take something that makes some money and alter it to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it's not always the best alteration. Take, for example, the Game Boy Advance. Very successful system. You had the initial one, and then they brought out the SP, they brought out the Micro. It was insane what they were doing. Yeah, it's just Game Boy Advance. Yeah. So, I mean, you look at the last thing they came out with the Game Boy Advance Micro, or just Game Boy Micro. It was only slightly larger than the game cartridges. It was tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Like what, 3 by 1.5 inches? Extremely tiny.
Mm-hmm.
It was... I don't see why you'd want to play with that. Then you get the DS, another successful system. They released the DS, the DSi, the DS Lite, the DS XL, other iterations of the same console that really just changed the size and very little else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the 3DS was just the same. You get the DSX, the 3DS XL. You get it. You got the last one that came out was what was it called? The new 3DS. That's what it's called. The new 3DS.
Right.
Yeah, and that was actually an example of them releasing something to make it better because it had a stronger processor. It had the PVC scanner for the amiibos. One of the few instances where they released the same console with better updates.
Yeah.
And if we take a look at the Switch now, the Switch Lite bomb. Okay,
Yeah,
the biggest thing was that it is strictly portable. It does not hook up to your docker to connect it to the TV. The controllers do not detach. It is a solid console.
Mm-hmm.
The drift on it was even worse than the drift on the controllers for the Switch. And I've mentioned it last episode, and I didn't think I'd clarify. For those that don't know what the drift is, on the controllers for the Switch, the drift is when you are rotating the stick of the analog stick and put it back into neutral position. It does not stay in neutral. It will always drift. It will always read as you're slightly pushing left or right or a certain direction. And this is something that's been plaguing a lot of Switch owners for the past couple of years. And Nintendo has gotten into... I think they're actually been taken to court for this because of an issue that they knew of that they should have been able to resolve. The Switch Lite has been more affected by drift on the controllers than the original Switch was.
Yeah.
So this is an example of Nintendo taking something that is their current cash cow, trying to update it, and just throwing it out there without really thinking about how to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
And with this one, the Switch Pro coming out, I have a strong suspicion that they're going to keep doing this and doing this over and over again until we get to the point that they're going to start releasing a console every year, very similar to how phones are being released.
I mean, that could be the extreme, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that is most likely a far extreme, but not just with phones. You see it with video games too.
Right.
Like the Madden series gets released every year, and there's always that franchise fatigue where they can only add so many new stuff, and then you're just releasing the same game.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed for a while was starting to reach that point. Call of Duty, stuff like that. And I have a deep fear that Nintendo might be going that way too, and that's why I'm very skeptical about the new Switch Pro.
Yeah, I can see your skepticism for that.
Yeah, but again, it's still a rumor. I mean, it's from a Vietnamese a game journalist site, and I don't want to. A lot of these sites tend to be very clickbaity,
Right,
and
exactly.
Yeah, so even ones like even IGN is getting to there, and IGN's been around for a very long time. Destructoid, Kotaku's very notorious for being clickbaity. So it's another one of those things we have to see some hard evidence before we can take anything at face value.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've always been wary when a new system comes out, because it's like, man, that's more money I gotta spend.
I know, especially if you want to be a loyal fan.
Yeah. So, and I think that might also be fueling my skepticism is the fact that there's a new system I might have to drop money on.
You kind of wish it's not true.
Yeah. But I don't know. Let's do something fun. What do you think?
Yeah, I can always go for some fun.
So, you told me that you got really into the Mandalorian recently.
Yes.
And this was kind of like your big first step into the Star Wars universe, right?
Yeah, right. You know, it was a really good introductory point for the whole Star Wars universe.
So that got me thinking. I want kind of test to see how far you're willing to take this Star Wars.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm gonna just a simple thing. I'll ask you questions, and to the best of your ability, you go ahead and try to answer them.
Okay.
I'll give you some points for every right answer, and then I'll have to punish you for every wrong answer. But little example, I'll give you an easy one. So,
all right.
I'm gonna list something and ask you whether it's something from Star Wars or from something else. So the first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the first
Shoot.
one.
Okay, so for the record, y'all, I've never seen any Star Trek. I've never seen any Firefly. The only Star Wars that I've seen was 1 and 2, but that was when I was like 10 years old, and I've never seen it since. The only Star Wars of recent I've seen is Mandalorian. So just a full disclosure for this. So I don't know what Ronnin is going to ask me, but I am very interested now. Go ahead.
Okay. So the first question, just a little warm up.
Okay.
Is a Mandalorian a race of people or a type of orange?
Okay, I can see you gave me a layup. I'm gonna say a race of people.
Okay, yeah, so that was right. That was your test there.
Okay.
So now we're gonna go on to the real ones. Okay.
Oh shoot. Okay.
So
go for it.
This one, I'm gonna ask you the question, and you have to name the character.
Okay.
Okay, at least to the best of your ability.
Okay, I'll try.
So this Star Wars character is also a Mandalorian, and his name sounds like a popular tea that uses tapioca beads.
A famous chai tea. Thai tea?
A famous tea or popular tea that uses tapioca beads.
Thai tea. Thai tea, yeah. Thai tea? Tati?
That your final answer?
Tati? Yes.
Okay, that is incorrect.
Okay. What is it?
Boba tea.
Oh my God. Boba tea.
Name is Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Let's go.
Okay, so the next one is from He did appear in episode 1 and 2, so this one you have some knowledge on.
Okay.
So Samuel Jackson played Jedi Master Mace Windu.
Okay.
And you have to tell me whether this factoid is true or false.
Okay.
So, true or false, Sam Jackson requested that his lightsaber be purple because it is the most powerful lightsaber. True or false?
Well, I don't know. Well, 50-50, huh?
Yep.
He chose it to be purple.
Because it is the strongest lightsaber.
That sounds like a bad mother thing to say. I'm gonna say yes, true.
It is false.
Oh God. Okay, why is it purple?
It is false because Sam Jackson almost always requests that something in his character be made his favorite color purple.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I did not know that. I did not know that about Samuel L. Jackson. Wow.
His favorite color is purple. And it is true. You go and watch some of his movies, and a lot of times there's something in there that is purple. In Glass or in Unbreakable,
oh, right.
he wore a purple suit. In Pulp Fiction, what did he wear that was purple in there? Because I need to go back and watch the movie because I know there's something in there that's purple.
His thong.
It's possible. I think there's a deleted scene where he's in a thong. Okay.
All right. Next one.
Last one. You haven't been doing too well, but this last one is really hard. So I am going to give a character name, and you have to decide whether it's a Star Wars character, a James Bond character, or a Mortal Kombat character.
Oops, that's gonna have to be bleeped.
That's okay, demonetized.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so the character's name, and he is a villain.
Okay.
The character's name is Kamal Khan.
Oh. And it's either a Star Wars character,
a James Bond character,
a
Mortal Kombat character.
And you said James Khan?
Kamal Khan.
Kamal Khan. When I get James, I'm thinking about James Wan. Kamal Khan. Star Wars, James Bond.
Or Mortal Kombat.
And you know what? I don't have much history of Mortal Kombat either. I'm gonna say, just because you wouldn't make it so easy that it's Star Wars, I'm gonna guess that it is Mortal Kombat.
Incorrect. It is James Bond.
It's James Bond? Oh,
yes.
Oh my God. What movie is that from?
He is the main villain from Octopus.
Dang it. I knew it was going to be an oldie, bro. I knew it.
So, unfortunately, you are 0 for 3. So that means 50 points to Slytherin.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry, Ravenclaw. I will do my very best next time we play this game. Dude, that was fun. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool.
So we'll be bringing these little random bits of things. Maybe if we ever do video things, we'll do like those Japanese punishment games or something. I don't know. We're not that much masochists, but we'll think of something.
Right. Dude, yeah, that was pretty neat. I'm glad I was able to do the little, especially because, geez, I can't imagine being able to soak up all that Star Wars lore and just shoot even a year. I think it's going to be a long time to get all of this lore, but no, it's cool. Like y'all are going to be witnessing firsthand a nerd dipping his toes into Star Wars and finally getting his feet wet. So,
yep.
Stay tuned. All right, Mike. Well, thank you for that.
No problem at all. So that'll just about wrap up our fourth episode. Thank you all again for your continued support, and make sure you hit that like button and smash that bell for further notification on new episodes that come out. Again, let us know your thoughts on the topics we discussed today. Give us some ideas that for future topics you want to hear about, and we'll do our best to try and bring those to the table the next time we talk.
Yes.
Until then, I've been a figment of your imagination.
And I've been Duke Savage.
Y'all have a good evening.
Thank y'all. Have a good night. Bye.